Brunch culture.
We want to talk about faith. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about pop culture. Literally,
everything
is up for discussion, and that's what brunch culture is about.
It's about a thing. Feel real good, wave your hands in the air and lick 2 shots in the air.
Brunch culture. Brunch culture. Brunch culture. Brunch culture.
She's Lisa V.
And he's Randall Keith.
And this is another episode of Brunch Culture, the weekly show where everything is up for discussion. And this week we got a lot to talk about. What? Oh, no.
When you feel in your body, you found somebody who... Oh, no, that's you got it bad. Never mind.
Well, I guess you do got it bad, too, if you got to let it burn.
Let it burn. When it ain't the same, your body don't want to. But you know, man.
I feel real bad for laughing because, like, that's a real problem. But
it is, but the way these memes going in, and they was right on it. They was like, let it burn.
And I had no idea. I'm watching it. And I keep saying, people's like, oh, you know, us out here letting it burn and all this. I was like, what are people talking about? And then you give me details, and it's like, dang.
I very bad news.
What did you hear the stuff about? Where did you read the stuff about the green stuff, though? Because
it's an article. I sent it to you.
You sent it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, the green stuff is just that.
It's not funny. I feel bad for laughing, and I started this.
I can't get past the green stuff,
I love Confessions. Is one of my favorite albums.
Green stuff, like, come on now. I mean, check this. I just feel like, honestly, when she saw something green, she should have been like, bruh, like, this not happen. And like, what's green stuff though? Like, come on now. You can't lay down with nobody and you see anything green. Like, come on. Puke is green. Even the emojis know that, like, green is bad. You know, they got, like, the puke from the emojis is green. Like that.
Yeah, it says, quote, end quote, greenish discharge.
Come on, lady. And she was just like, let's just go.
He said nothing. Believing Raymond's statements that the discharge had been nothing and cleared up, she continued her relationship.
Wait, so they had like an ongoing relationship?
Apparently so.
The saddest thing is...
She was later diagnosed with herpes, complete with vaginal sores, fevers, chills. Dang. They need to give her more than $1 million. For all this?
Nah. Oh, she was the bridesmaid. She was a bridesmaid of, like, his wife at the time. She's his wife's bridesmaid. Yeah, that's what... She was that's what I heard. When I first, like, started hearing about what happened, it was like he allegedly affected. This is the girl that he, like, cheated on his ex-wife with.
Oh wow, that's deep. That's even deeper.
Right.
Oh man,
that's like
you said, Golly G Willikers Batman.
Look here, like
that's a whole nother level.
What? Talking about payback. Talking about karma.
I'm on a new level.
Look,
wow.
Karma is all kinds of bees around here.
That is, man. That's one sowing and reaping right there.
Yeah, I green stuff, you know, the moral of this story is if you see green stuff coming out during intercourse, it's time to leave. Like, and I mean, and again, not saying that, like, you know, picking on nobody with diseases, but, like, you gotta let people know what's going on. You gotta protect yourself, and you can't fall for the okie doke being like, oh no, it was just one time, it cleared up. Like,
and she probably think he's Usher.
Run me some papers, folks. Like, run me some papers for real. By the way, that's my favorite video. Black China. This is for Black China, flat tummy tea, all that.
I thought you was gonna say "Let It Burn" was your favorite video.
No,
I don't
no.
remember that being that good.
The girl on Instagram, the Instagram girl that goes, meanwhile, Black China's out here getting surgery. And she's like, I'm out here drinking black tummy tea like it's Pete Moscato. Me and Rob still fat. And you in surgery. And you in surgery. That junk is hilarious. Like,
You sent that to me. I died. That's hilarious.
that girl, I watched that video. I watched it just yesterday. Like last night, I was cracking up. I was taking a break from work, and I was cracking up. And you in surgery. And you in surgery. We gotta post that to the brunch culture page. That junk never gets old. Me and Rob still fat. Oh gosh! So, in other uplifting news, let's talk about some uplifting stuff, some good stuff. What's happening? Well, we got
Student loan paperwork might be burnt down.
student loan,
I'm
like
talking about burnt down, burnt up,
burnt down,
Lost.
missing, gone, ain't here.
I don't know where it went. How y'all get rid of it? Please don't find it.
Right, you do it how you want to. Now, I was real mad about this article though because I got government loans, and so I'm like, why? I mean, why can't just let the government loans just go? You know,
Brenda,
like
we talked about this. It gotta be about everybody.
look. It can be with everybody, but it must start with me. Didn't Michael Jackson say something like that? Like,
He's talking to the man in the mirror.
it gotta start with me. The loans in the mirror. I'm searching for the loans in the mirror. Oh, I'm asking you to change my pay. Look, we gotta let these loans all the way
Well,
go.
at federal, you could just defer them.
Nah, but I still got to
homegirl told me
eventually pay them.
My homegirl talking about, girl, yeah, I paid off my private. I'm thinking she been paying off her federal.
No.
She talking about, oh, I paid my private though. I said, so when you start working, I'm finna defer them to forever.
That's so terrible. That is terrible.
She talking about, you gotta pay off them privates though, 'cause they don't play, but you can get a them federal, girl. I was like, dang.
I've heard of the private loans like finding a way to like garnish people paychecks and stuff, and like that's
you don't.
yeah, I ain't with that. Because if I ain't got no place, if I don't got no paycheck, then I ain't got no place to stay. If I ain't got no place to stay, you surely never get no more money from me, for real. So like, no.
Yeah. I remember when I used to work at the bank. And wages used to get garnished. Man, they used to come in there, and it's like nothing you could do. I was just like, they was like, how am I gonna pay my rent? And crying. I mean, that's a horrible feeling.
I can't even.
I don't wish that
imagine.
on anybody.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Like that's for real rough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, shout out to everybody that have private loans that are potentially likely gonna get their loans forgiven. Like I didn't even read the full article because I read the first part that said private loans and not private lenders, and I was like, wow, this ain't for me. I can't be in this. But shout out to y'all. I ain't hating on you. I'm a little jealous.
Lose federal next.
Right on out of here. That'll be great. Right on out of here. Yeah.
Beyonce let us see her twins.
Beyonce let the world see the twins, and I have to be honest, I looked at the picture like 5 times before I actually noticed that they were in the picture.
Wow, Randall. Really?
So I'm so used to people posting over and over pictures of Beyonce like that she posts, and I had just woken up, so I was getting in my car. And I looked at the picture, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, oh, this must be an old picture because in the photo, her stomach looks flat. So I like zoomed in on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, this must be before like she even got pregnant. So she was kind of, signifying that this was going. And then I read the little caption that said something like Rumi and Sir, and it never clicked at the time. Like I didn't realize that it came from Beyonce. I didn't realize like what it was. And so it was like one month today, and I was like, oh, and then I thought about it. I was like driving, and I was like, wait, did she like, cause I guess that's their names. Is that the kids' names? So then I go back to Instagram.
Remy and Sir.
I thought it was Rumi.
Oh, okay.
You're giving Remy Ma another child already. But
it's like you can, yeah. You could tell they're an artist child.
Because it's like, it's not, yeah. But I thought it was a little, and it's so funny because my best friend was like, I love those names. I think they're so cute. I was like, honestly, she could have named these kids Box, and y'all would have thought like, oh my gosh. I love the word B has always been, you get it? Beyonce, Box, B, it's 3. It was her, Jay-Z, and Blue Ivy, and then they had a box, and the baby came out of the box. Beat the box up. It would have been all this kind of stuff. Like, what? Like, what? But no, I actually thought it is cool. The one thing that I do appreciate about celebrities and creatives, I feel like, you know, they have the freedom to just kind of, to be free and just say, you know, create names that they want to create. And they're generally pretty different. Like the name Blue Ivy. It's so funny. I remember hearing it and thinking like, wow, I think she's going to have such a different name. But I think now I hear it so much that it's like, that is it doesn't seem abnormal, you know? It's like, oh, Blue Ivy. Then I do like the whole like Ivy, IVY, and then the IV, like Roman numeral. Like, I think that's, that whole thing. I was like, I guess they kind of get me. This makes sense.
Well, congratulations to the Carters.
Congratulations. Beyonce has 3 children. That is interesting. No, I mean, it is. You think about, like, we've been watching this lady for 20 years. 20 years. Like, literally, we've watched, I mean, of course, like, what she's shown us, but, like, we've watched her since she was, 16, 17? And that is, or 16, actually. Yeah, I think it was 16, because she's, 36 now? 35, 36, going on 36? So, somewhere around there. Like, that's it's interesting, it's insane, but I do think I am a little excited, though, to see her come back and to see like what her work is going to look like now. Like, is she going to be the, you know, let's get out and dance real hard, or is she going to, like, how she's going to change up her career now if the kids being like a mother of 3 even matters? Because, you know, she came out like, she seemed a lot more young and free after having Blue Ivy. So
maybe she'll be more like Mariah Carey now.
I'm going to reserve all comments. I refuse to answer this question on the basis that it might incriminate me. Did you see that video of that guy? That drunk guy? I refuse to answer this question on the basis that it might incriminate me.
I didn't see that, but I'm thinking about that Mariah Carey video you sent me.
I know, I couldn't stop laughing. And I have a friend that really loves Mariah Carey, so I ain't gonna ride on Mariah Carey because it is a bit rough, but honestly, yo, that video was hilarious. And I think it was, shout out to the podcast Melon and Jay. I think he's the one that posted it, and he posted it and he said something. I think it was, it was like the caption said, it was like me, and it was like, I hate lazy people, and it was like also me, and it was that video of her dancing. I cracked my side from laughing. It was hilarious. Like, it just, you know, me, I just don't know. I just, you know, and I feel like I honestly, even with all of this, people are like, would you go to a Mariah Carey concert? I would. I honestly would. 1, to say that I've gone, but 2, that has to be hilarious to see in person, for real. Like,
so you're going to laugh? Yeah,
because I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, like, for real. And I do, you know, I would honestly wouldn't mind going and seeing her lip sync. I'm okay with that because it's like the feel. It's Mariah Carey. Like, this person's been out since the 80s. Like, my parents used to listen to Mariah Carey, so this is dope. I'm cool with that. But yo, it would be hilarious, honestly, to see, like, think about when the guy picked her up and she started off like, looked like she was like climbing up with her arms on the other guy's back. He was just like, what?
I feel like she'd be medicated half the time. I thought
she was drunk. That video, she had to be drunk. That couldn't have been. Yeah, she was drunk.
Her reality show, she seems like she's always under the influence of something.
You think so? Well, I didn't watch all of it. I only watched one episode, so I don't know.
Yeah, I only watched one episode, but that was enough for me to be like, this lady is. She's
Mariah
on
Carey
one.
said, look, I have, like, every year her single is like number one, right? That her Christmas single, All I Want for Christmas.
It's the past.
Yeah, I think it's like number one every year during Christmas time. It's like the number one Christmas song. So she consistently, besides the fact too that Mariah Carey has been writing her songs since, I believe, like, if not the 80s when she came out, like the early 90s, but she's definitely been writing songs and been a writer. And one thing I respect her too is as a writer, she has been able to write songs that are relevant throughout all those times. So I think that that's dope. But so she's paid. I say all that to say she's paid. Obviously, she's not like out here hurting for money. So I really feel like she just don't really care. Like, she probably like, I'm up here because I can be and I want to be. I mean, you know, dance. Who dances? Like, you don't gotta really dance. If you just swing your arms a little bit, like, smile at your dancers. And the funniest things too is the dancers be going full out. Like, they be working hard for those checks. And it's like, I mean, your girl just kinda kicking it, yo. Like, Mimi is just like, it's all good. It's all right.
Well, we definitely gotta talk about this. We didn't want to talk about the Pied Piper.
Oh Lord.
Mr. Robert Kelly is really literally trapping people in the house, not trapping them in the closet, apparently.
Trapping them in a room, according to the one lady. She was like, you got to ask for permission to leave the room. I was like, dang, you can't leave out the room? Like,
to eat, and he takes your cell phones and replaces them with a cell phone. It's just, that's intense.
It's real, yeah. It's a
His
lot.
former assistant, like, when said these are, you know. But I'm like, how do you, as a person with a moral compass, how do you be his assistant for years and see this going on and not quit or say something? Maybe I don't know.
Probably money. And that's honestly the toughest thing is, you know, a lot of the people that are saying, except the girls that are saying that they were in the situation, but people that are like, oh, you know, that makes sense, or, oh, I was in his camp, like, you know, I work for him and I was around that type of behavior. You know, you kind of start to ask, like, yo, like, what was going on? Or, like, what does that say about you? And then, honestly, how do people know? Because even when people bring up the arguments of, like, oh, okay, well, you know, you just mad because something, you got fired or you went south, it kind of is one of those things that was like, well, do you see why people have some sort of room to say that? Because all of a sudden now you want to say something and maybe you weren't saying this before, because, you know, I've never heard that detail of it. The whole situation is honestly really jacked up. It is really disgusting. And it's so hard because I was talking to a friend about it today, and I don't doubt, like, I'm definitely not one of those people that's like, oh, you know, R. Kelly is, people are just trying to defame him and all this, because it's kind of like, I mean, you know,
He's defaming himself.
exactly. Like, over the years, you know, R. Kelly hasn't necessarily been the most sensible guy, if you will. I mean, I still haven't seen the whole sex tape thing. Just the idea of, like, somebody getting peed on, I was just kind of like, no. But then it's like, somebody's getting peed on and this is a minor. And then finding out that he actually really was married to Aaliyah and she was like 15 or 16 or something like that. And then his latest girlfriend, I guess, apparently was like 19. And even seeing that interview clip when they were like, all right, the
Was
guy
it Tori?
asked him, Toro?
Torre or something. Torre?
Yeah. He asked him, you know, if you like are attracted to like teenage girls or whatever, or he said teenage girls.
What age
And
are
he
you
was like,
talking?
yeah, well, what age are you talking? And it was kind of like, I mean, it's kind of, bro, like, I don't think that was the best response. Like, even if you felt that way, like, maybe this doesn't help your case. So I'm definitely not one of them people that's finna be on some, oh, people just mad at his legacy and trying to ruin his legacy. Nah, bruh. I feel like even if that were the case, he honestly has given you enough information that is like, all right, well, I mean, what more can I show you, and what more can I tell you so before you just actually really believe that this is a thing. But it's really complicated too, because these girls apparently, from what I heard, they were talking about on Ricky Smiley Morning Show the other day, and from what I heard, like, apparently these girls are like right now, the women that are at his house, they're all of age. And so it gets really, really complicated in that it's hard to justify that adults are brainwashed, right? You can definitely hear from people. Like, I watched the clip of the family talking, and apparently there was another young lady that came on with them, and she said that she used to be a part of like the girls that were in the house and stuff like that. And I think some kind of way she kind of came to her senses or got out, or somebody helped her or something like that. But she was saying like these things actually happen. So I think just having somebody that testifies that I too was one of these, and apparently this is something that's been going on for years. So they have women that were a part of that. I guess maybe they got too old and he kind of just set them free or whatever. But it is all really, really sad, weird, and uncomfortable. And I don't know, how do you feel about people? Because have you heard like people kind of liken it to Hugh Hefner?
Mm-hmm.
And like,
I haven't heard the Hugh Hefner, but were those the Playboy mentioned? Did he? Yeah. Was it anything that he like kept them there against their will, or like? Because I feel like with the Hugh Hefner thing, it was more of a public display. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is like something private that he doesn't publicize, that he has these women in his house like this.
Yeah, which is true. That definitely, that's a good point too. I think the other thing though, because a lot of people were saying, like, I guess the girl's family is saying like, you know, she's there against her will and she wants out. But apparently the same girl that they're talking about, I watched the TMZ video, and she's saying how she's not being held against her will, and, you know, she doesn't know what's going on with her family. What I will say though is she definitely seems extremely young. Like, listening to her talk, and not to pick on the young lady because she likely is a victim, but when they asked her how long she's been when's the last time she talked to her parents, and she said something, and she was like 5 months, and I was like, who says numbers backwards? Like, what? And then she was like, they asked her when was the last time, and she said off and on for like 5 months. And I was like, wait, you missed the question. And the only reason I point that out, because like it was weird and I kind of chuckled, but then I was like, see, to me, I started to think this, and I'm like, well, is this really rehearsed, or is this coming from you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it sounds like you were expecting a certain question to come and you answered based on that question without even having cognizance of what they actually said. And she just seemed really, really young. And for this girl, she was like, you know, I won't speak on anything about I will say that I'm not being held hostage, but I won't speak on where I'm living. I won't speak on, you know, other things that are going on. Like, I'm just not going to speak on that. And to me, it was like, well, this definitely kind of seems like, oh, girl is saying, I want to speak on things that I haven't really been trained or kind of ran by somebody. I don't know. It just seems really, really weird. And I just hope, because you think about how these little girls' lives are going to get like messed up. Like, they're young now and it probably seems cool. You probably have like, you know, he probably buys you stuff and takes you places. And all this is, of course, I'm speculating, but they're young. And so imagine like when they get older and they start thinking about, well, this is the life that I live. Like, if you are being brainwashed, like somebody with a lot of money, power, and fame has brainwashed me. And the crazy thing is, you still have people that are saying like, yo, he should be praised for this. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's uncomfortable. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I hope they get free, because I feel like he's doing, I tend to believe that this is happening, just because his record, his interaction with younger women, his fascination with sex, throughout his music, it reaches new levels, and he compares it to everything. I told you, when I heard that Zoo song about the monkeys, it just was starting to get real, real weird. I was just like, when you start Yeah. R. Kelly, you gotta find some other things to talk about.
Right.
I
Something
do.
else,
I
please.
wish. Nah, I did love that song. I wish.
The thing that's really challenging, though, I'm gonna say this and shut up about Mr. Kelly, but it's really challenging though because a lot of songs, and I'm not saying like challenging about going to support like him now and like purchasing his stuff, but I started watching. I was going through some old photos on my computer, and I saw a video from my stepmom's wedding, and we were dancing to Step in the Name of Love. And I hadn't heard the song in forever, but for whatever reasons, this song since then has been stuck in my head. And so I bring up R. Kelly and that song comes up and it's stuck in my head and I'm singing and I'm like, gosh, I just feel like, why? Like, why does this have to be stuck in my head? Why can't I take this out? Like, he has so many songs that were very catchy, that were very popular, and Step in the Name of Love being one of those songs that kind of like, it was everywhere, like every black event, you were dancing to it, you were singing to it. So it kind of is like one of those songs. It's like the electric slide, right? Like the electric slide is like infused into everybody's like life and what you're used to. So it's kind of like, yo, that's going to be really, really awkward and really weird to be like, yo, I'm dancing to the song to this man that's like, out here, like,
what was the most
girls
awkward and I felt like craziest thing? A lady on my timeline that I've known for a long time, since I was a little girl. She is the biggest R. Kelly fan. Like, she goes to all his concerts when he's in town, and so she posted a picture with her and him at, I guess, one of his last concerts. Mind you, she's married, like a manager at a bank, and she was like, y'all better get off my boy Kelly, I'll be his sex slave. And I'm like, what the heck?
And see, ma'am, it's ignorant people like you. That's why, honestly, he does this stuff probably because he realizes that there's gonna be stupid people that no matter what, insinuates what things that insinuated, facts show, whatever comes out, y'all just gonna be like, oh well, he's R. Kelly and he's great. Like, come on now.
And she's a woman. I'm just like, wait a minute, what are we doing here now? What's going on?
Yeah,
like, ridiculous.
That's pretty stupid.
So y'all tell us what y'all think about mimosas and orange juice. Tell us what y'all think about this confessions burning thing with our dear friend.
You so disrespectful.
You
are so disrespectful.
Did y'all see the twin
this
pics from
confessions
Beyonce?
Burning thing. That's like, come on.
Student law. Y'all, sorry, excuse my ignorance, but I just saw a video where they took the confessions video where he get the news and put this was when he got the news about that.
All right, you're done. That is so wrong. Social media.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's my fault. Pray I become a better person.
This is terrible.
Tell us what y'all think about Robert Kelly. We should have known from the beginning. He says he's a self-proclaimed pedophile with the Pied Piper. Just let us know what you think. Hashtag ChatBC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll be back with our main dish. Can you feel me burning? Well, we're back with our main dish. Today's main dish is the role of friendships in relationships. Now, we all know that when we get in relationships, our friends have an opinion about them. They want to know what they do when it was their last relationship. Do they want to be serious or not? They got all these questions, especially for women. I don't know if it's the same for dudes, but for women, your friends, your homegirls, especially your best friend, want to know, who is this person? Are they going to be a good fit for you? You tell them their name before you can even get to the other details. They already on their social media page, because when you said their name, they went and put their name in their search
Facebook
bar on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They already 6 weeks deep on their timeline, trying to find something, trying to see what girls commenting, trying to get context clues so they have ammo. And so all of their research is going to play into the relationship. And when you tell them things, they're going to bring them back up, because it's so hard. Like when you have friends and you want to vent about your boo to your friends, and then you get over it and they don't.
Yep.
And so then you got to go through that whole thing. So our friends play a great role in our relationships, and I think they only have kind of like maybe a 1 month window to impact us, because once we like the person, they can say what they want, and we'll vent to them and call the person all kind of stuff when we mad, but when we good, we kind of like,
you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And so what brought this about, I want to talk about this because I sent Randall a Plies video, because sometimes I think Plies, he can be kind of vulgar, but sometimes he's funny when he's talking about real stuff like relationships and stuff. And so he said something that I thought Randall would agree with, because Randall always talks about homegirls. He was just like, if a girl has a lot of friends, he doesn't really put much stock in the friends, because they only gonna be friendly to him when the girl is on good terms with him. But if the girl is mad at him, they gonna be mad at him too.
Don't see the lie there.
So I thought this would be a good topic on the role of friendships in relationships. Do they help us? Do they hurt us? Do they even matter at all? What do you think, Randall?
So I agree with the point that you made when you suggested that it likely could be different for men and women. I think that it is very, I think that it can be different. And I say this, and this is more of why I feel like the nature of men versus women, and friends, right, is that men are more like, you know, you can tell me about them, you can tell me about this person, and then like we'll meet, and you know, it's kind of go from there. It's just kind of like cool up front, like let's, you know, from jump we just cool, like it is what it is. I feel like women are more of like, let me meet him, I want to see for myself, I want to make a judgment on myself. And I feel like maybe you can have some, you know, some guys that are like that as well, but I think that kind of becomes like the first thing that's just very different. So I definitely agree with you there. So for me, and I found it's interesting. I found that friendships are important, and what my friends think about a person, especially my really close friends, matters in the sense that I feel like my friends are a reflection of who I am, right? I feel like I try to be a very logical person, and I feel like my friends are as well. So if my friend brought an issue or had an issue, I would probably listen, or it probably would be a little tough, because for me, and I say this and this is really hard, but I know I've mentioned this before. Friendships are, and solid friendships, and people that have been in my life in the beginning stages of a relationship, I feel like my friends matter more than the relationship. And I only say that because I have, my friends are like an extension. It's like my family. It's like extended family. So I expect them to always be around. So I'm not going to like, you know, kick my friend to the curb for a relationship that I don't know if it's going to be here or not. And when it ends, I'm likely going to go back to my friends and my comfort. So for me, you know, what my friends say matters. However, I do have an expectation of my friends to be logical, to be understanding, to not just make a, you know, comment just because like, oh, well, I don't like what she was wearing, or I just don't like that she got short hair, something, you know, something stupid like that. Like it has to be something that makes some sense. It has some substance to it, and it's not just I'm just saying stuff just because I'm nitpicking or something like that. So for me, they like those my friends, their comments matter more so in the beginning, probably a little bit longer than a month. But I just want to hear what you're saying. Like, I want to know if you're thinking, personality wise we clash, or if you're thinking like, hey, you're more considerate, and maybe you're not seeing like you're not considering like how, or you're not seeing how you're not being considered in this way, or something like that. Like substantial stuff for me. That's what matters.
Yeah. So you think, how long would it take you for your friend's opinion not to matter anymore? If they didn't like the person, you say you need, obviously it's going to be longer than a month for you. What's that cutoff?
I don't know.
When you commit to them and say, this is who I'm with.
So I don't know, because for me it's a little like, what you mean you don't like them? Like me. I'm always like, okay, so let's be sensible, right? I'm not here with I just don't like this because like I don't like that. For me is like, so what's the reasons? What's the basis of that? So I guess I don't really know. It's weird because I feel like it's circumstantial. And I can say that I've never been in a situation where my friends like, yeah, I don't think that this is gonna work, or I don't think it's bad. And I think I always approach my friends with like, what am I doing wrong? So yeah, I've never had that situation, so it's a little tough for me to think that like I'll say I don't have the expectation of my friends to just outright like not like somebody, because I don't approach friends like that. Male friends or female friends, like I don't approach who you date. Like if you were to start saying like, I'm talking to, Joe Bob, I'm not gonna be like, oh well, wait till I meet Joe Bob, because I want to see. I'll be like, oh, okay, like what do you like about Joe Bob? Now if I start finding out that like Joe Bob ain't got no job, Joe Bob might be like a youth pastor, but that's all Joe Bob is, and Joe Bob probably make like 2% of the 10% that comes to the tithes, and the tithes a month is probably like $1,000. And I'm like, well, Lisa, I don't know if Joe Bob is like who you need to be with, but I will never approach it. I never try to approach things like this person's horrible. I always believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt. So I don't really know what that cutoff would be for me. I think it's circumstantial.
Yeah. I don't know. Cause I think when you get into a relationship, for myself, I was mad at one of my best friends from high school for like a year because I was dating this guy. Well, the guy that I thought was the love of my life, who was I won't say he was a horrible person. It really ended up bad. Mm-hmm. And she could not stand him for anything. She used to tell me every chance she got, like, he's not good for you, blah, blah, blah. And so she was really tight with my parents too. Uh-huh. So she ended up, for some kind of way, she ended up going to dinner with my parents, and they didn't like him either. And so my parents and her had a conversation about my relationship with him. And she told me, she was like, yeah, me and your mom and dad was talking. And I was so pissed off. Like, I was like so mad because I felt like they were in cahoots against my love. Mind you, now I'm the stupid one.
That's how it work out, right?
And so it was like, I just stopped talking to her altogether about him. And then, yeah, ended up being the one who was the dead wrong. But when you're in that phase where you feel like you love someone and your friends or family try to say something, it's like you almost alienate yourself from them. Cause you're like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all don't know them like I do.
Yeah, and cause you're so like in love, and you see all of the good things, or all of the potential, or just kind of like you're like, oh well, they're not with this person when they make me laugh, or when we just have a good time, or when they allow me to be myself. So they don't see all that stuff, but they probably do see kind of some of the bust a move stuff. And again, I do feel like, because I remember. I don't want to put nobody out. Dang, that's kind of bad. So I had a friend that we were in college, and she was talking to this guy, and she ended up telling me about like, hey, my friends, my like girlfriends, they're kind of upset. Like, they really don't like him. They keep telling me that he's bad for me, yada, yada, yada. And so she started explaining to me the situation. And, you know, having not known this individual, like the guy, but hearing all of the reasons that her friends said that they didn't like him, and her kind of confirming that all of those things were true, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, like, so what are the good things? Like, why do you like him? What does he do for you? And her inability to really explain that thoroughly was kind of like, yeah, I think he's probably not the best. And I think this is maybe a couple months later, like, everything just hit the fan, and she was like, oh, yeah, that's not it.
So do you feel that you don't feel the need to rescue people when they tell you all the bad stuff about their relationship?
Nope. So I do have, yep. Check this. So I definitely had a situation with a friend I was really close to, and it was a homeboy of mine, and the situation he was in was just really bad. It just wasn't good. And like, kind of had to know from jump that it wasn't good. And he should have known from jump was good. I feel like maybe I was probably the only one that was telling him from jump that it wasn't good, but it was on some very, like, you know, you kind of meeting someone and they start off with like a financial hardship type thing. And it kind of seemed like that hardship just like they don't ever recover from that financial hardship. And I'm one, you know, I'm not really for the expectation of a woman that, oh, he finna pay my bills. Cause like, nah, like that's not, you know, you might want to holler at a 50 or 60-year-old if that's what you're looking for. Cause I'm finna run and tell you, like, that's just not, you know, we all out here trying to get it. I don't mind helping you out, but like, you know, us dating is not the contract for me to pay your bills or like take care of your finances. Like, this is just not gonna happen. So that kind of started in a situation. I remember explaining to my friend, like, hey, you know, like, you might want to consider this. Like, this is not, you know. And I did definitely take the position, like, I don't think this is the right situation for you, honestly. And that kind of ruined our friendship. And, you know, it took a while for us to get our friendship back because of that. So I have a position now, like, I'm not trying to save nobody from something that they want to be in. If you ask me a question, I'll tell you my position. I'll tell you how I feel about it. I'll try to, like, make it plain and draw it out logically. But I'm not finna save you from something that you decide that you want to be in. Because obviously you're there because you want to be. So, because I feel like when you start to do that, you'll get annoyed with the friend. And then you'll potentially lose out on a friendship, or y'all kind of fall apart because, you know, this person is going to be around. They're so happy that this person is in their lives. And it's kind of like, yeah, but I can't really kick it. I don't want to be around somebody that is, you know, that has expensive taste with no money. Like, I just kind of feel like this, you know. And then don't hit me with oh, well, let's split the bill. And you like, oh, well, we can just split it halfway. Nah, folks. We got we got a body that's over here that need to be paying. This needs to be like split evenly, completely evenly. Like, it's stuff like that. That's just a little weird. So, yeah.
Well, I get it. Cause I mean, the crazy thing is I told the story about me and my high school best friend and me being pissed off with her and not talking to her for a while because she said something about the dude I was with. But then I turned around and did that to somebody else. Because what was the crazy thing is, because I had went through that horrible situation, I wanted to save my friend and I did too much. And so that turned into an issue. And yeah, we haven't been right since. But
that's it.
But it can be, you can go too hard. I've been on both ends of it where somebody goes too hard on you and then you go too hard on somebody else. And then it's just like, and the crazy thing is, even when you go too hard on people's relationship, you could be right and they not work out with that person. But the way y'all situation or the conversations that went on in that situation still cause the rift, even if they separated from the person.
Right. Because they feel that sense of betrayal from the friend is kind of like, well, you're telling me what to do, or you're bossing me around, or you're not letting me live my own life, or, I don't say anything about your relationships, and, you tell me all this stuff, but I don't hate it. That type of stuff. I feel like that it starts to bring out other things or other issues, and they start to kind of sink together, and it just is not a good look. Yeah. So I just don't, I think it can kind of open up a can of worms to other things because somebody is so deep in. Honestly, I'm under the belief at this point that, like, unless somebody is kind of beating you down, I don't really have anything to say about it. Like, just because I've had that situation where I did lose a friend because of my comments, and I thought back then, and I was much younger, but I thought back then that it was my duty to save you, to like, as your friend, I should see what's coming and then kind of stop you. But I think now that, whatever. But, and I also say that, but on the flip side of that, I also believe that it is not, if you start dating, kind of along the lines of what Plies was saying, why he doesn't mess with like a girl's homegirls or her friends, because it is like, so you think about, these people don't owe loyalty to you, they owe loyalty to their friends. So it's kind of like, there's really no sense in us being buddy. Like, we can be cool, we can be cordial when we out. I don't need your phone number. We don't need to be like having extensive conversations about anything. Like, if it happens organically, cool. But I do believe in, like, I'm not really interested in trying to invest more than I need to when I'm around you and your friends. And I only say that because when this junk goes south, or if I do something that you share with them, depending on how they are, I'm being shaded all the time. I'm being excluded. They're going to develop the homegirl syndrome. And then everything that I do is really going to be horrible. Like, it's never going to be enough. I could be like, oh, I bought you a Benz. And they'll be like, well, Rolls Royce got a sale on. And it's like, yeah, I don't, this is not good.
Yeah. What do you think? Because when we talk about friends, and I mentioned before, like, venting to them, where do you think that line is? Because it's like tough, because if you know that y'all gonna get back together, but you just need to vent, but you don't want them to hate them, depending on the incident. It's like, how do you keep that balance?
It depends on the person, right? So you can have, I feel like the details of a relationship, you have to reserve for point people, right? Like, you have your point folks that you go to, and that needs to be like one person or two people. And I only say two people just because, putting that reliance on one person, that one person maybe being unavailable is challenging. I don't believe that all of your friends need to know. I believe in, the privacy in relationships. I believe that, the fact that you're in a relationship, and especially the details of a relationship, is really not nobody's business, besides the people that you choose to share it with. And when you share it with that person, with those people, you have to make sure that that person is someone that is not going to judge the person that you're with, and that person understands that, honestly, nobody's perfect. And when I come to you as a friend to vent about my relationship, I'm not trying to give you, details to hate this person, but what I'm really trying to do is think through it and talk through it. I'm trying to see how I can approach them with their flaw. I need you to actually give me feedback as well, to help me see how maybe the flaw that they're doing that's annoying me, how I do that in other areas of my life, or maybe I'm doing the same thing to them. Like, I feel like that's what those point people are. So I feel like you can have, everybody is not that person. Even some people that proclaim to be those people aren't those people. I personally have had a situation like that with somebody that is really cool and actually it has really great qualities in terms of being a friend. But once you kind of open, Pandora's box of giving information about somebody that you're dating, that person brings that information up at the most inopportune time. So you're in a group setting and that person is like, oh, so what about this? Wait, what? Like, why are we talking about that? Like,
that wasn't supposed to for the group.
Yeah, exactly. That was for you and I. Oh, well, Randall's going through a breakup. Wait, what? Like, oh, well, oh yeah, you're going through, oh, you guys should talk about it because Randall is going, huh? No, we don't. That's not, I didn't tell you that for like the group. I told you that for you. Or a person just asking about like the update and the status just in front of like folks that's like, this ain't it. Like, I didn't tell you this just so you can have ammo or like talking points. Find something else to talk about. Like, scroll through Instagram and show me a picture and let's have a discussion about that. Don't talk about, my personal business. But I realize that's me because I'm very private in that sense. I do believe that like, it ain't for everybody. I'll say that. I think that it's not the details of what's happening in a relationship or the status. Even if a relationship is going bad, it's not for everybody to know that's going bad because everybody can't take it. They can't handle it. Maybe they approach things with good intentions, but the way that it comes across, it actually reminds you of something bad, or it brings up it. You already wounded and you're trying to heal from the wound, but they, pull the Band-Aid off and it's like, oh, there's a sword. And it's like, well, wait, we know this. Like, I'm trying to get through this. So I feel like you should have point people, preferably 2 people, go to those people, allow them to help you and to support you. But I honestly don't feel like because a person is your good friend, they should have all the details. And just because a person, definitely because a person is your friend, like, there's certain things that everybody just don't need to know because everybody is not going to handle it with the level of care that you might need them to.
Yeah. So y'all tell us what y'all think about friendships and relationships. How do y'all deal with it? What are y'all guidelines and rules that y'all abide by? Hashtag ChatBC and let us know. We would love to interact with you guys and talk about this topic. We'll be back with our toast or roast.
Toast or roast. We are back and it is time to get into our toast or roast. And this week, I've been trying to really, really just, be on the up and up, be positive and be good and not really roast nobody. But this week I got a roast. Y'all know Michael Vick. And not just Michael Vick, right? Because in my roast, I'll give a little bit more context, but the people that seem to think that there's nothing wrong with what Mike Vick has said, and they aren't Mike Vick himself. I'm disappointed, annoyed with Mike Vick, but let's just get into it. I'm annoyed with a couple things here, right? So if you don't know, Michael Vick made the statement that Colin Kaepernick, when asked, what should Colin Kaepernick do? Like, he's not, he hasn't been signed. Like, what does he need to do in order to fix his career at this moment? And he starts off and he says, well, the first thing we got to do is we got to cut that hair. He got to cut his hair. It says, first things we got to get Colin to do is cut his hair. Listen, I'm not up here to try to be politically correct. Even if he puts cornrows in there, I don't think he should represent himself in that way in terms of just his hairstyle. Just go clean cut. Why not? You're already dealing with a lot of controversy surrounding this issue. The most important thing that he needs to do is just try to be presentable. So here's a problem that I have with that. And I'm sure this is the problem that a lot of people have. Why? Just think about it logically, right? You play football, you have to put on a helmet for your job, right? For the major portion of your job. The reason that you have endorsements, the reason that you're doing interviews, all of these things, the main reason your head is covered. You have on a helmet. If anything, your hair probably adds for more cushion, but that's about it. Like, I don't understand how that is logically something that you feel like needs to happen. However, I say that I can understand that Mike Vick would have this response based on what helped him get to a place where he was in the good graces of the folks that think that ethnic hair and ethnic style and ethnic culture is great for entertainment, but should not be anybody's real life way of life, and they can't be taken serious if that is it. Like, it makes sense that he would think that. So I'm more so mad at the people that kind of prim and prime him and that support that thought process. Like, here we go again with having to reject things that naturally happen to us. Our hair naturally grows out of our head. If we don't cut our hair, it naturally grows in that way. We are not sitting around here saying that, you know, Caucasian members of the NFL need to be mindful and to make sure that their hair is cut and it should be presented in a certain way. Like, honestly, the man's hair is growing straight up and straight out. That is the way that it looks. Like, this should not be something that we have to, this shouldn't be a thing. This shouldn't be a thing at all. Like, we shouldn't be having this conversation. However, I will say too, and I'm roasting these people that are on social media that automatically go to call somebody a coon. Like, we gotta chill out with that, right? Like, it's frustrating because I feel like, you know, this creates a space where people are afraid to say how they feel, and people can't be corrected. Nobody's going to hear if they go, nobody's going to hear you and hear your point of view if they say something wrong and you immediately go to, oh, you're a coon, you're a coon, you're a coon. Maybe he's not a coon, he's just misinformed. Honestly, maybe he's not a coon, he's just probably viewing this through the lens that he was told that he had to follow, the path that he had to follow in order to get into the white good graces again. And we have to be able to teach him, have a teachable moment, say, look, bruh, that was wrong. It was really jacked up with what you're saying. The reason that it's jacked up is because you shouldn't have to fit a particular image when your main job is to play football. If you have the talent, if you're able to do that, you should be able to look how you want to look and be who you are in the same way that other people have that same ability. Now, if you're saying like, hey, you need to show up to, this event, this gala or this interview with a suit and tie on, and that's a requirement, that makes sense. But honestly, cutting something that grows naturally out of your hair to make other people feel comfortable, likely because they can't grow it themselves, is jacked up, is messed up, and we got to stop doing that. And we can't do that by calling somebody a coon. And Mike Vick, that is not going to fix him. He doesn't have an image problem. Like, obviously he doesn't have an image problem. There's so many other things that happen. You were a felon for dog fightings, yo. And you had to go through that to come back. This man utilized his rights. He protested. We are given those rights as American citizens, and he's being cast out and ostracized as a result of that. But you think that he needs to fix his image? Like, shut up, bruh. Like, just don't say it at all. So this week, I know that was long, but this week I'm roasting Michael Vick, and honestly, all of these people that sympathize with him and the people that automatically go to just saying, oh, he a coon, oh, he a coon, oh, he a coon. Honestly, we got to love a lot bit more on our brothers and sisters when they fall, when they say something that's stupid and be like, look, bruh, honestly, you know, you acting real crazy. This looks bad. Like, I'm not finna say discredit your entire life, discredit everything you do, but I do want you to realize why this is problematic and why continuing on with that type of rhetoric actually perpetuates the things that Colin Kaepernick is standing up for. Why? Because police and people in general continue to look at black people, black men, black women that fit a ethnic, urban, hood, ghetto, whatever stereotype, and they classify them as being incapable, as being dumb, as being violent, all of these negative things. It has a negative connotation to it. And if you, in your position, don't challenge that, if you with this platform don't challenge that, people will never wake up, people will never realize how problematic it is, and people will never realize how doing that to us also in some way does that to them, whether it is as fast, as ready, as, you know, as soon as it still is a problem. So anyway, that's my roast for this week.
Yes. Well, I'm roasting and toasting Chipotle. First of all, I want to toast them because they are getting queso. Really excited about that.
I did hear that.
So I'm excited. They're testing it at their New York test kitchen. And I have no doubts that it's going to be a success there and spread throughout the franchise. However, this week in VA, some people got sick eating at Chipotle. And so I'm just roasting them and toasting them. First, toasting because of queso. Roasting because what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, why are we getting sick? I haven't got sick from there, but people are getting sick. Now, I was on the high about this queso. 2 days later, I'm trying to put the pieces together because people are filing a claim. The stock went down. It's just like, come on, guys. What is with it? Y'all can't get, I thought y'all were supposed to get these products. No GMOs, all fresh from local farms. Are y'all not telling people how to clean stuff properly? What is the problem? So that's my toast and roast. Chipotle, get it together because I really want to enjoy this queso.
Yeah, I
want to do it and not be sick.
I was thinking about it for lunch today, and I was like, well, I just saw that somebody posted an article about folks getting sick. I think I'm gonna pass on this one. I think I'm good.
Because it's in your area.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm always good.
Well, we want to leave you with today's good vibe. Today's good vibe is commitment in the face of conflict produces character. Love it. Love all the C's in there too.
Yeah, that's character. Let that marinate this week. Where's your character? What's your character saying about you? That's good.
Yes. You got to have good character. You don't. I was about to sing another Usher song. Never mind. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Brunch Culture. We appreciate you listening each and every week. You could catch all our past episodes at brunchculturebc.com. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Just search Brunch Culture. You'll be able to subscribe on there. Leave us a comment and review. We appreciate those reviews. Those really help us and keep us encouraged, keep us moving up those iTunes charts as well.
Yes.
If y'all have show ideas, remember you can email us at brunchculturebc@gmail.com. Is there anything else, Randall?
Nope, I think that's it. Just as always, remember here at Brunch Culture, everything is up for discussion.